1, 2, 3, pick it up, go!
Mankind must put an end to war. A war will put an end to mankind.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Well, I'm not drunk. I earned everything I got.
Go! 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 Go!
Change will not come if we wait for some other person.
All right. Hello, Internet. This is the Blind Partisan Podcast. I'm Elliot. That's Jacob.
Hello.
And we're going to jump right into our topic because we have no clever segue for you.
No, we don't. We've been spitballing one for the past couple minutes, and we realize that neither of us are very smart.
They'd be
when it comes to
terrible.
that stuff.
They'd be terrible. Because
So
partly because I don't want to make light of it. Like there are some ridiculous aspects to all of it, but like I don't want to make light of it because it's a serious subject.
What serious subject is that?
So we were tasked with talking about the Kavanaugh confirmation hearings. So
we're talking about the Kavanaugh stuff, and
yeah.
Okay, let's be clear about this. 2-3 weeks ago, we never thought we'd be talking about this again.
No, I really didn't.
No,
And I
say it,
and now I feel very I feel stupid for not.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh yeah, this kind of thing always comes up, doesn't it?
And I say again because we kind of talked about Kavanaugh before. We talked about him in our first episode of doing this weird mistake of you and I talking together.
I think it's fine. We should talk about iPhones, but
yeah.
But the he seemed like really boring and like a safe choice.
And that's what we thought he was.
Yeah.
We said that he was a safe, obvious choice.
Yeah.
And we said nothing against the guy personally. Right. And with honestly, I remember just a few weeks ago reading about the voting and whatnot for him is coming up soon. I'm like, I'm probably not even going to notice the day he's confirmed.
Right.
Boy, was I wrong.
So I have a million thoughts on this. What's your take?
My take, if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, or if you've chosen to tune out of all politics,
I think anybody watching us knows what went out.
This, there were accusations made against Kavanaugh by a Dr. Ford.
Right.
And she seems to be a nice individual, but so does he, I like to think everyone's nice. I don't know why I say that.
Well, I haven't seen her talk, so I don't have any.
So the accusations are of sexual misconduct.
Yes.
When they were teenagers.
Right.
And originally he was accused anonymously, if I got that right. Right. You remember someone anonymous doing it, and then, when more and more questions over it came up, she came out publicly saying it was her. I got that right? Pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea.
So the allegations, they're at a party, right?
A party with 4 guys and 1 woman, one girl. These are teenagers. Yeah.
And
I would never classify that as a party, but maybe that's an 80s thing.
The accusation, there was some groping and possibly some attempted rape. Maybe
this stuff is all fuzzy, as it should be, because it's 30 plus years ago.
It is 30 plus years ago. Yeah. It is. I think that's something we need to address, though. It is a little hard talking about this because this is very much still a taboo subject,
Which
and
part?
It's sexual misconduct, rape,
It's not taboo to talk about it.
It is
taboo
not.
to do it.
It's certainly taboo to do it, but there's also still a stigma to it.
How so?
I don't know.
What?
What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Stop putting words in your mouth.
Where's their stigma? There certainly doesn't appear to be one in the U.S. Senate.
No.
Where's the stigma?
I don't know. I think some people perceive it differently than others. And
okay.
There's definitely some opinions on it that I don't know are good opinions that have come to light.
Okay, what did Trump say now?
No, actually, let's address that. Trump's been pretty calm with this.
No.
Compared to other Trump issues.
As of when?
I haven't seen much.
I think
from
maybe
him.
these came out.
He had some statements supporting Kavanaugh, but they were very tame.
Well, let me read what he has because they're read. If you Google
You got
Kavanaugh,
some quotes?
well, it pulls up Trump's Twitter here. Sorry about that. I see nobody reminded me, and then I forgot. Okay, so this is Trump's tweet. I have no doubt that if the attack on Dr. Ford was as bad as she says, charges would have been immediately filed with local law enforcement authorities by either her or her loving parents. I ask that she bring those filings forward so that we can learn date, time, and place. So I think you didn't know about that one.
No.
Okay.
I saw an interview with him, one of his classic in front of a helicopter interviews where you can barely hear him.
Sure.
Where he said, he supported Kavanaugh, but it was in a tame manner. Tame's hard for Trump.
Yeah, so I think what you're referring to is Judge Brett Kavanaugh is a fine man with an impeccable reputation who's under assault by radical left-wing politicians who don't want to know the answers. They just want to destroy and delay.
Was that on his Twitter?
This is on Twitter.
That sounds like someone wrote it for him. I'm just going to say that, but you never know.
I don't know. Facts don't matter. I go through this with them every single day in D.C. I don't know, maybe.
Okay, that sounds more Trump.
Boy, I mean, it would be great if people wrote for him because some of the...
I do feel some of his tweets are written for him.
Boy,
but that's not a bad thing.
No.
All of Obama's tweets were written for him.
I don't think is true.
When he was president, I'm pretty sure he gave up reins and it was just like an official account. I don't know.
I think was he the one where he would tag him as B.O or something if he actually wrote them?
I think so.
Somebody did that. Yeah. But
don't quote us on.
But whatever.
Ever.
I mean, whether he has somebody do that or not, it's still his voice. He has to stand behind it, right? So whatever, that's fine.
So Trump is, besides the fact that he nominated him and he is supporting him, very much not a big part of this story.
Well, he shouldn't be. And initially he said, I'm all in favor of letting the truth get out and delaying things. I think that's fine. People deserve.
That's
to know.
a good statement.
Yeah, but both sides are kind of digging in for no particularly apparently any reason at all. I think is anybody truly against waiting a little bit for this?
Yes.
Who?
Certain members of the Senate and House. I
But,
feel.
I mean,
on
whatever
the
it
Republican
is.
side, not for a reason in particular, but just because they're worried about midterms. If midterms were not a thing coming up within the next month or two, I don't think there would be any hesitation with waiting.
So are they? I mean, so what? Okay, so I'm a little confused as to what's the point in delaying it all. Period.
Well,
but I think most people were reasonable and said, okay, if we have to wait a little bit to get everybody to get on the record, that's fine. But who are we waiting for? I don't even understand what we're waiting for.
My understanding is that when she came forward, she said that she would testify in front of a committee, but she'd like there to be an FBI investigation first, which my understanding is that's normal procedure. That's what happened with the Clarence Thomas, and Anita Hill thing is an FBI investigation was what happened first. She said that should happen first, and then I will testify. And Republican leaders specified saying, no, we want you to testify in front of us first. And some even saying there shouldn't be an FBI investigation.
Okay, why should there be an FBI investigation?
I don't know why there should or shouldn't. I just know that's the precedent.
Yeah. Okay. So wait. So the Anita Hill thing, there was an FBI?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
In fact, Clarence Thomas, the first thing he said when he was, on the stand in the Senate, in that investigation, the first thing he said was, the first I found out about this was when the FBI came knocking on my door investigating.
Okay.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So so there is sort of a precedent. Okay. I mean, I don't know. So how do we feel about the fact that, so there were some precedents set in that case and, and other things have come up over the years, right? But if we compare these two things head to head, it's very different. Extremely different. So my understanding is that Anita Hill worked with and I think for Clarence Thomas. This this situation is these are teenagers, and much
There-
longer ago.
There is
Both of those things.
there is a difference, but there's also some similarities you can point to. I think more it's in the conscience of people right now because we still remember that case. You know, I wasn't alive then.
Okay.
I was not born for another 5 years,
Okay.
and I know a lot about that case, and I've heard about it plenty over the past couple years.
Okay.
And to be frank here, whether you believe the accusations that Anita Hill made or not, she was treated like garbage.
Okay. I mean, maybe. Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
treated with very little respect. Quite a
Yeah.
And
I don't
think-
remember it, I guess, as vividly as you do. All I remember is just these strange quotes. And I'm like, okay, so now you can't say off-color things at all ever in a workplace? Like, it seemed like a really bizarre line to draw when saying this person is absolutely not qualified to be on the Supreme Court or is absolutely qualified. Like, so this is how we decide it on whether he said there's a pubic hair in my Coke? Like, I don't understand. Like, that always baffled me.
I do think you would agree though that if we're going to be voting on someone, to be in the Supreme Court, our most powerful court
Yeah.
for life,
Yeah.
we should know as much about them as possible, right?
Do we need to know what they did as teenagers?
I think it might be a good
Really?
idea.
And even if there's no proof?
I'm not saying we should
So, like-
absolutely hold him accountable, but I think we should.
Yeah, so the thing that is really different to me is like the Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill thing. That was much more recent in comparison to the hearing. So that we have this problem. Like we think the human brains capture everything that our eyes see and our senses feel and records it like a camera. And that is totally false. It is demonstrably false. So there was actually a really good article that I read where I forget what's the lady's name?
The current Ford.
Yes, Ford.
I forget her first.
So she may be remembering things absolutely perfectly for her. She may not be lying. He may also not be lying because these things she could have felt threatened for no particular reason. He may not have even meant to be threatening. And she, just because she felt threatened over the last 30 years, she's added on things that she associates with being threatened. And that's a natural human thing. And we all do that. We fill in the gaps of our memory with things that feel like they should be there.
Okay.
And so since there's no way for any of us to know, and the two eyewitnesses completely disagree, I don't really understand what's the point in even talking about this.
Well, I believe we aren't certain if there are facts or more information yet. That's why there should.
Where would the other information come from?
I do believe there was a third person.
And he said, and he
Right.
already gave written testimony saying that
Okay.
he doesn't recall anything like that happening.
So
I don't even understand why this is a thing. I mean, it's fine if there's actual reasonable suspicion that this guy is a serial rapist, sure. But so he did something that even if he did it, which
That's what I wanted to talk about next.
Yeah,
Let's say it comes out. I do feel there should be an investigation.
yeah,
Okay. I think we're in
Fine.
agreement there.
Fine.
There can be.
sure. Oh, I mean, it's not up to me, but
No.
but I don't have a problem with it. I think delay tactics to try to push it into the next session or something, I think that's wrong. But I don't see any reason why that should have to happen.
Okay,
so
so-
investigating it's fine, sure.
Let's say it comes out that some smoking gun appears that proves he did it.
Yeah, he totally got away with a rape when he was, I don't even know what the age was.
I want to say 17.
Let's say it's 17. He totally got away with it. And nobody reported it. Nobody knew about it. He totally got away with it, but now we have a video camera proof.
All right, let's go with that. That's
Yeah.
a good smoking gun.
Okay? So
What happened?
so is he not allowed to be Supreme Court justice then?
So it's awkward because
Because he's a kid.
there's no criminal filings against him. The statute of limitations is far exceeded.
yeah.
But
And he was a kid.
Right. Well, I think legally it doesn't matter. It matters that enough
Matter a
time
lot.
has
If you're a
passed.
kid, we treat kids differently than adults. We always have, always should.
There is some gray area though.
There
Kids
shouldn't
being
be.
tried as
There shouldn't
adults
be.
for things. And
If you're not on the hook for, if you can't vote, you shouldn't be able to be prosecuted as an adult.
so
I feel very strongly about that. Change
My-
the voting age then. Change it to 16. Change it to 14. You're an adult. 14. Boom. Let's do it. I don't understand why we would arbitrarily have different rules. Like, that makes no sense to me. You an adult or not?
So
That's actually very paramount to this conversation. Like,
I don't think so, because no matter what,
Really?
there's not going to be any actual, criminal filings against.
we pretended that there are.
Okay.
That we have smoking gun proof. There's
But
not going to
even
be
then,
criminal.
the statute of limitations.
Yep.
means-
Okay, so you're right.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be criminal.
No.
He's not going to go to prison. But does that mean that he shouldn't be a Supreme Court justice?
Here's the thing. I think he will still end up as Supreme Court justice.
So then this is all a bunch of wasted time because we know there's not going to be video camera evidence.
Here's the interesting thing for me. The Democrats, as soon as that came out, they're going to be against it.
Yep.
But what solidified the fact that there would be a delay is that several moderate Republicans.
Yeah, they're like, this is fine. Let's check it out.
Right.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And politically, they have to do that. But the thing is, we both agreed, like, even if we find out he absolutely did it with photographic proof, which is not going to happen.
No, but let's say we're in theoretical land today.
I mean, in the 80s, almost nobody had video cameras. And if they did, I don't know that you'd be able to even make it out.
Why
on them.
didn't you just use your cell phone to Snapchat it?
Right. Like, we live in a completely different era now. But even if we had it, should that mean that, because I think different people looking at the video evidence could even disagree.
Now, personally, for my own
No?
morals,
Because we don't know.
everyone has their own morals. I wouldn't want to see someone like that on the Supreme Court, but that's not for Jacob.
But
to
for what
decide.
reason?
This is not the United States of Jacob.
He's in his 50s. So are you saying that nobody has the opportunity to redeem themselves?
They should be able to redeem themselves,
Okay.
but we shouldn't give them basically the highest job in the country right away after we find out.
certain people can't redeem themselves.
No, that's not fair either.
Okay.
But it's a
What if he
complicated,
was
messy issue.
what if he was black? Then it'd be okay?
No.
Okay.
Clarence Thomas was
Okay. Well, he's
black.
on Supreme Court, so apparently
And
it was
I don't
okay.
like him either.
Okay. All right.
It has nothing to do with political views. That
Okay.
does seem kind of messy,
Okay.
And I don't know if I feel good about someone like that in the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court's supposed to represent, morality, right? Or at least our American interpretation of it.
I can go along with that. I mean, I don't know that necessarily is true, but
No.
but do you
Nothing
have this?
fits into a
Okay.
perfect box or a
Okay.
perfect.
You're like 45 now, right?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
at least
And so have your morals changed at all since you were 17?
for sure.
So I don't understand.
It does come down to a question over whether or not you can be forgiven for things you did in the past.
I mean, dude,
But our government overall has said no.
I have
mean,
different
how many
morals.
felons can't vote?
That is also wrong.
Right.
So I feel like I'm very consistent in my beliefs in this. Like,
Woohoo!
you should be able to redeem yourself, even if you did something, right? And the fact that there's no proof, I mean, it's sort of ridiculous to try to defend yourself against accusations that can't be proven. That's the whole thing is just a circus. But pretending for a minute that there was actual proof, I still think that he should be able to say, yeah, that thing happened. We have a difference of opinion. I felt like it was this. She thought it was that. And,
Okay, here's
and I'm not the same guy I was when I was 17. That should be a valid answer.
as weird as this is to say, would the problem not be attempted rape then? If there was a smoking gun, we're still in that scenario.
I don't know. I mean,
But would it be the fact that he lied?
Well, what's he lying about? Like, there hasn't really been a clear accusation to even respond to.
Right. We're still in the part. Well, she said she would give the clear accusation,
Yeah.
but she wants the FBI to, do their
The
thing.
whole thing. So that came out today. There's like all these rules
Yeah.
of like, I'm only going to provide this testimony if this and this and this and this and this. And it's like, well, no, you're not going to get all that. What? That's crazy talk.
Well, what's weird is
Like, she wants him to respond. This is real. She wants him to respond before she's going to give any testimony. What? That is completely insane. That's like, you're forced to go to court, but you don't know what for.
Maybe it's like a.
That doesn't make any sense.
You know how they say like if you're trying to get a new job or something and like have a contract and you have like a list of demands and you put one really unreasonable
right.
thing on,
because you don't want it at all.
right?
Yeah.
Just to take it off so they feel like they're getting
Right.
it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, and that's what it seems like. They're like, so she really doesn't want to go and
But
testify.
the Republicans are doing the same thing on the other side. They said,
No question. This is what's really harming my brain is because I don't want to come across like I'm defending Republicans. They're off kilter and they support candidates for the wrong reason.
and let's be. I mean, no one. I mean, this is the same party who supported Roy Moore. You know.
Yeah.
Roy Moore is a terrible
So
person.
this is why I hate even having parties because the party supported him. No, a lot of people in the party supported him, but like look at each individual, and that's what we should be judging people on. Like they're as an individual, you should be judged, not because you are a Republican.
You've voted
because you are a
Republican
Democrat.
before,
Yeah,
and
I have
you
voted
don't-
Democrat before too. Yeah. Don't tell either party. They'll shun me. Largely, in most cases, in the past, especially when abortion wasn't the top issue to all these crazy Republicans, I tended to support Republicans, but they don't favor marijuana legalization, even though that's clearly the thing.
Right.
They don't support prison reform, even though that's clearly the thing. And they're insane
there's
about
too
abortion.
much money in private.
Like the whole
That's another
Supreme Court
episode.
thing, the whole Supreme Court thing, the reason I bring that up is it's all about the stupid abortion thing. Like we settled that before I was born.
Yeah,
It's settled.
and you're old.
Let's move on. I'm old enough for that to be old, right? Like let's move on. Move on. Nobody's making you get an abortion.
All right,
This is America. We believe in second chances and we believe in freedom.
So something interesting. I did get a small chance to do a good amount of research.
Apparently, you know more than I do.
I know, right? And one thing I read the Wikipedia article on Anita Hill, just looking at the previous case, because I was sure we'd talk about it at least a little, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I found interesting was in her personal Wikipedia article, they specifically said, one of the consequences of that investigation was in the next election year, 1992, there was a considerable increase in the number of women elected to Congress because they saw how she was treated. Now, I'm not saying that Dr. Ford is going to be treated or has been treated, the same way. Although I do think there are some things that have been said by certain members of the Republican Party that are pretty gross, icky.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's things that are said by both parties.
But I do think people listen to that. And do you think that will have an effect on the midterms that are literally a month and a half away?
So
A month away?
Well, it can't now, right? I think it's too soon, right?
I don't know.
I mean, you're not going to increase the number of women running
it might increase the number of women voting, though.
that vote and vote for other women that are running.
Maybe.
Yeah, or I mean, so were you saying
undecided?
Did I misunderstand what you said? Did you say that more women voted or that more women were voted for?
I think I said more women were voted for, and that's
Okay.
what was cited.
Okay.
But, there is a good chance that more women, especially undecided women, will vote against Republicans.
So it's an interesting thing, because we talk about like the pay gap and all these things. I would be willing to bet that most women who run for public office tend to be single and tend to be Democrats.
Or, I don't know, there is, I don't know a name for it, but there are the type of Republican women.
Like new ones.
New ones. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not counting like the old stalwarts like Nancy Pelosi and the Republicans
What's
on the
the
other side.
lady
Yeah.
from Alaska's name?
The senator?
Senator, the one who voted against Trump Care. Starts with an M, I want to say. Man, I'm bad at names.
Yeah.
McKin.
Well, let's just see. Sorry, I can't stand Murkowski. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So
Yeah, so she's not super old, but so I'm just thinking like if new people are running, fresh blood, right?
Right.
They're probably younger people skew Democrat anyway, so like they're going to skew Democrat, and there might be more Democrats voting. Like, yeah, I mean, I could see that. I could see this help to push the Democrat turnout.
it's okay. So here's here's a
And
question.
it's a mid-cycle election.
And-
I think Democrats have a slight advantage there.
Believe it
okay?
or not, I really want to hear your opinion on this.
Okay.
Democrats definitely 100% do have a biased reason for pursuing this. Drag it out till the midterms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Also, make the Democrats look good on camera.
Right.
Do you think if that wasn't a factor, we'd be in the same position?
No.
Why or why not?
Well, I think that
Got to throw in that why or why
Yeah.
not, like a SAT question or whatever.
okay, and this is aside from the fact that there's a distinct possibility that some Democrats like pulled this lady out because why did this never come up before? This guy was a judge before,
Oof.
right? So assuming that that's not the case, just like you said, they have a clear reason to drag this out. So it might have been already over and done with if the timing was different. I think that's totally possible. Maybe, I mean, not necessarily, and there's no guarantee, but
Right.
Theoretically, these senators have other things they should be working on. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that is
in the Constitution, all it says is advise and consent. Which consent is an interesting word, especially since we're talking about alleged rape too, right?
Yeah.
What exactly does consent mean? That we have the historical precedents, but like
as we've
according
seen-
to the Constitution,
But
like,
not only that, we've seen precedents over the past, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
The definitions
Yeah.
and what people expect change.
yeah,
And
the
that,
nuclear option,
believe it or
right?
not, there are arguments of the past or arguments made by Republicans. There have been a lot.
Sure.
The field is, when there's a controversial issue, you cast a lot of different lines, right? Of reasons why something's okay. So,
Okay, I never heard that before, but okay.
really?
Yeah, where did you come up with this? This is a new theory.
You don't think so?
You think this is
for example, with
You think
Russian,
this is a particularly Republican?
No. Every
thing?
party does it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
When
that
there's
I
a
buy.
big issue.
That's a good defense tactic.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
For instance, Russian collusion. Well, there is no collusion. Or, someone else at the same time will be arguing, well, even if there is collusion, it's not a crime.
Yeah.
Right? That's just a very simple example.
Sure.
So in this, we saw a lot of different reasons. From boys will be boys,
Right.
which is honestly one of the worst, to, our culture and values have changed over time, which I can't say. I was not alive in the 80s.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what? I want to backtrack on that. So
Yeah.
the boys will be boys thing, saying that is just unacceptable. I think that is also nonsense. It doesn't mean it's absolutely acceptable, but I think that there is a point to be made that that male teenagers, especially, and female teenagers, especially, could perceive the exact same situation completely different, with neither of them being evil.
Okay, but I believe the statement was more on, well, that's just what teenage boys do.
Okay, and I mean, I again, like they're not all rapists,
No.
but this doesn't sound like it was rape anyway.
Well, we don't know.
If it was rape, I think somebody would have said that, right?
Yeah. It was not successful.
Like I don't understand.
rape.
I don't understand why, if it was rape, it wasn't like why that wouldn't be stated clearly. Like there's no question he raped me, and I know it was him.
Right.
Like why is it so complicated to actually give a proper answer to that? I don't understand that. Why come forward at all if you're not going to come forward with the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I think
That's what really bothers me about this kind of thing. Where was she 2 years ago, or whenever he was last appointed to a judgeship? And does that mean, and then you can hear like, well, Me Too movement, and you should be able to say it anytime you want. Except human memories are flawed.
Are you ready for me to say something?
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with the fact that she should have said something a couple years ago. So what she said, I remember seeing a statement from her, is that she had like blocked it from her memory for years and only really remembered it in like 2012, 2013. At that point, she probably should have come forward. He was already a, circuit judge and whatnot. Right?
Okay.
Hang on. But there's a second argument, and you read it from a Trump tweet earlier, even.
Yeah.
Why didn't she come forward in the 80s?
Yeah.
That I disagree with.
Okay.
Because it was, a different time, and that type of thing was not handled the same.
So then
and
why
you
is
know
it-
what?
So why is it
We
worth bringing up
shouldn't
now?
be Are you ready for the best quote ever from this entire podcast?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be criticizing her for her judgment as a teenager.
Okay, I'm not. I think it's fine for her to bring things up, but I also think that without proof,
you're supposed to flip it to him as well.
well, I don't need to. I already said that.
Right.
Yeah. I think that that's fine for her to bring things up, but if she has no proof, then it should be taken for what it is. Like, okay, you brought something up, you have no proof, and I'm sorry that you have to provide proof of misconduct, but you do. We believe in innocent until proven guilty. We do. I'm not saying that this is a criminal thing because obviously, like you said, statute of limitations, yada yada. But we believe in innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
And and because of the whole like people's memories get screwed up, and if she even said I blocked the memory, well, how can you rely on her memory if she even said it was blocked? I mean, I don't know. I didn't hear her say that.
So what do you think about the Republicans who were against, giving this investigation time?
Well,
what is your thought on that?
Because I think they were being practical. They're like, okay, so is this going to keep this from happening?
Really? So you think they were being practical?
I think that
they were being political because they want to get it done before midterms. Same reason why Democrats don't want it to be done.
Sure, but but you and I both think that he's going to be confirmed.
Probably.
So they're just like he's going to be confirmed.
Clarence
What's
Thomas
the point?
was.
Yeah. So everybody's like he's going to get confirmed. So what are we doing? What's the point here? I think that that's a valid thing. I think it's totally valid to actually say, but I mean, yeah, their reasons are suspect because of the timing. I mean, I think that's true on both sides, though.
So, do you have any final thoughts? It's kind of one of the weird things with this is it's a very emotionally.
I don't know. I mean, are we going to go through
episode.
this every time any male person gets appointed to anything? Any time that any male person runs for office? I mean, the whole
My hope is those people wouldn't have those things come up because they wouldn't have done crap like that.
But
for certain.
But again, he didn't do that. We don't know that he did anything,
right?
And we have no way of knowing.
No.
She can give compelling testimony. It doesn't matter. She could be remembering wrong, and that is a real thing.
There is the risk of false accusations as well for political reasons. But just because there's that risk, doesn't mean we shouldn't take accusations seriously, right?
No, we absolutely should take accusations seriously. But if they have no proof, I don't know what you do with that information. Honestly, like we have a very public example, a very famous example of Stephen Avery. He was wrongly convicted the first time around, and that tainted even. They may have mountains of evidence on the accusation that put him into prison the second time.
We could talk a lot about Stephen Avery.
But it was
an interesting case.
But it was
for us
suspect.
As it's so local to us.
But it was suspect the whole way through.
Yeah.
Because they wrongly convicted him the first time, and that was eyewitness testimony. So I don't know. What do you do?
All right. So final thoughts?
That's
anything?
it?
No,
We got
we're
nothing
gonna end
else.
there. All right. Well, we should ask people, to tell us what they think. We got some good responses from people on our last one about hurricanes. People
did?
actually giving us good input.
They did?
Yeah,
Did I miss it?
mostly on Facebook.
Okay. All right.
But if you guys want to add in on this episode and share your thoughts with us, nicely, please. I mean, I know it's the internet, but
I don't care if it's nice. The rules of the Blind Partisan Group, I will reiterate.
Mhm.
You can be passionate. You should try to be kind, but argue the concepts and the policy, not the person. So if Jacob says something stupid, don't call him stupid. Say that the idea is wrong and explain why, and
that Jacob's stupid.
and back it up with facts. Jacob has thick skin. I have thick skin, but that just because I may be okay with it or Jacob may be okay with it, that doesn't make it okay. Like that's
All right. Well,
So come and join us, Blind Partisan Group on Facebook. Hit the bell on the YouTube and subscribe. Also subscribe on iTunes. Leave a review if you think of it on iTunes. That would be awesome. Anything else?
I don't use iTunes, so I don't know what you're.
That's the number one place that people use podcasts. Period.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not disagreeing. I just don't know it. So
Yeah. And it matters.
Yeah.
It bumps you up on the list. So bump us up on the list. Right? All right, we're out.